Hey, everybody, and we're back again with MITA Unshackled and Cannabis Legalization News. Yeah, my name's Tom. You can find me at the Cannabis Legalization News on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. And joining us as co-host is...
Hey, everybody. This is Max Juhasz from DopeCFO. And with us today, we have some wonderful guests.
We do.
Yeah. And, just want to say, we've already said we're here at Benzinga.
We did.
We already
I
did
would just start to introduce them.
Okay, fair enough. You guys can start. Let's go. Drum roll, flip a coin.
Ladies first.
Ladies first.
So I am the Happy Therapist. I'm a double board licensed psychotherapist in the state of New Jersey, New York, with jurisdiction in Pennsylvania and Delaware as well. I have a psychedelic mental health and substance abuse treatment clinic, which is located in Jersey City. We have an alternative location in Soho, New York, and also Brooklyn, New York. And I'm also a writer for RollingStone.com. I'm their mental health, cannabis, psychedelic, and wellness writer. So I write articles that are directed towards people in leadership so they could understand how to go about, implementing the strategies needed for health equity reform for mental health. So that's me, and that's what I'm about.
That's kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is a big deal. So my professional background started in working in state and county funded rehabs, mental health and substance abuse rehab. So my clients were probation, parole, drug court, and child welfare referred. So coming from that background, I noticed I seen some disparities in the treatment that was offered. So definitely challenging the status quo and providing alternative, unconventional treatments that are now legal in New Jersey and New York and the states that I practice in.
Okay, cool. And introducing right here, my brother from another mother.
Yeah, Raymond Guns. I'm with DopeCFO. What we do, just as the name implies, we offer financial services for the cannabis industry, all the accounting, the forward-looking projections and budgeting, and then the compliance side, 280E tax strategy, internal controls, SOPs for the accounting and financial reporting. I like to call it all the boring work, but that's what we do. We only serve the cannabis industry, and then myself, CPA by trade, did audit for a number of years, and then started working for a finance function, kind of started to realize, like, how does the finance team actually help operations, improve operations, communicate with the ownership teams, and just facilitate that monthly cadence of finance. And that's what we do at DopeCFO. That's what we do for the cannabis industry. And happy to be here at Benzinga.
Right on.
Wow, very important word.
No, it really is. And I think it's funny that we've got both of you here, because I think on both ends of the spectrum, like, there's obviously the mental health aspect and then there's the financial aspect. And I think because we've had a number of people on today, I'm really curious, like, what's your take on this whole deschedule, reschedule thing, and like, how does that affect everything? You know what I mean? Like, with the farm bill being rewritten, with the everybody popping in, we're going to reschedule, deschedule, the petitions for all that. Like, how does that change the way the industry operates? Because that's not just that's on a state by state, but that's also on a national aspect as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I guess, can I chime in first?
Feel free. Yeah.
So I guess the therapist in me wants to reflect back with a question, but how does the descheduling to Schedule 3 actually help cannabis-based businesses?
Do you want my personal opinion?
I want your personal opinion.
My personal
I think
opinion,
we should all talk about
it doesn't.
You know I agree with you, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, it needs to be descheduled,
because
how does the rescheduling assist cannabis businesses in really flourishing and going against the barriers and obstacles that are presented to them for them to be sustained and successful over a period of time?
Yeah, no, from a marketer standpoint, from someone who helps a lot of dispensaries and cannabis companies, I feel like once you're on the same level as opioids, you know what I mean? Like, there were a lot of people that were like, "Ooh, yeah, we're gonna have to pay less taxes," but then I was like, "Ooh, but you're also like in the same category as like OxyContin and everything else, where it has to be like like essentially like your bud tender will no longer be existent because now you have to have a pharmacy tech writing your prescription and giving it out." So that would, in my mind, change the face of it, even though it is a plant. Versus like something that was made in a lab, but it's a natural plant. You can grow it anywhere, but now like you need a pharmacy prescription to grow your own plants. Like, anyway, so yeah, so from that standpoint, I think having both of you hear it, it's opinion wise. I have my own opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I don't run a dispensary. I just help other businesses make money in the space. You know what I mean? Like, I run a marketing company. We help other people sell cannabis. You know what I mean? And connect with other people. With you, it's like because you're working with patients from a mental health standpoint. With you, because you're helping. And your whole group is helping other businesses with their books.
Side.
You're on the tax side, and the tax side is And Tom,
but talk about the tax side about that. What happens when it goes to Schedule 3?
Yeah, it's because like
or
280E
if, will it,
applies.
or, I mean, here's the thing: when it does, or if it does.
Well, when it's a when.
You think it's a when?
Oh yeah, I'll explain all of that after.
All right,
okay.
I'll get into the 280E. So like 280E applies to Schedule 1, drugs, and so
Right.
like doing that in theory should remove the 280E kind of tax code implications and impacts, which just purely from the numbers side, yes, it's substantially more profitable not being subject to 280E. Obviously, there's a lot of can of worms that also need to be like one decision. There's also a lot of explicit other decisions that are being made by making this decision.
Right.
And that's what's the unclear piece is like, all right, if it becomes a pharmaceutical or has health benefits, then does that kind of make it more in the pharmacy realm and not where it is right now, which is this weird pseudo gray area. So from the tax perspective, very beneficial, but also there's other ramifications we need to consider.
Right.
Yep. And from my back of the napkin calculations of my dispensary partners that I know, and then post and then pre, so with 280E applied, it would boost profits for dispensaries by 53%. And then not only that, that'll help your company because now they have a marketing budget. Because the way that taxes work for the cannabis industry currently, because it is Schedule 1, you are taxed on gross profits. No other business is taxed on gross profits. You can only deduct your inventory, and that's it. Then you pay, that's why they're all C Corps, because it's 21% over there to Uncle Sam, as opposed to a flow-through entity that can have higher tax bases. But you don't have any room for a budget for marketing.
Right.
Now, if it's going to no longer be like that, now you can deduct the cost of ordinary and necessary expenses for running your business. They have a marketing budget. So you're going to increase profits by 53% and have a deductibility of marketing. Your business will be booming, which is fantastic. But then let's talk about the weird pharmacy aspects of it. You see, what happens is when it goes to Schedule 3, then we have to go to Section 823 of the Controlled Substances Act.
Here we go.
This is the sexy part of the podcast.
The sexy
This
part.
is the information I needed to hear.
Yeah, this is what we got you out
and
here.
so under Section 823 of the Controlled Substances Act, the Attorney General may require them to be scheduled. Now, he can issue an exemption for every state registered licensed entity that is operating and then put it into like a policy statement similar to what they did with the Cole memo that they did back in 2009, where they said these are the agendas for the Department of Justice. Just same thing. And then just when it gets rescheduled to Schedule 3, the DEA then needs to create rulemaking. This rulemaking will take a couple of years to become effective. Similar to like in 2018 when hemp got descheduled and was no longer a controlled substance. It was 3 years before the actual regulations for the USDA went into play.
Yeah, it was Wild West.
Right. And so what I hope happens is Merrick Garland uses his authority under that section of the Controlled Substances Act to exempt every operator that has a compliant license from the state. So like there would be a process where you're supposed to register with the Attorney General or the DEA, which really is frustrating everybody. But then if that's an exemption, the only thing you have to do is provide a copy of your license to the DEA, and that would allow you to be in and operating. That would not only remove the need for safe banking because now everybody is in compliance. If the policy is that you don't have to register, you just have to show that you actually have a license from the state and you're exempted under the actual provisions of the statute that says they can do it. Now you should be able to get not only a bank account, but a bank loan.
Right.
And so all those federal crimes that happen, that all happens as a result of what they find in a different law, also from 1970, called the Bank Secrecy Act. And so the Bank Secrecy Act defines money laundering, and money laundering, one of those aspects is specified unlawful activity. And specified unlawful activity means trafficking in a controlled substance. And so that all those crimes would go away, making the Safer Banking Act moot, whether or not we would need it. So that's what I hope that happens. I'm trying to get this out to as many people, and so like tell Merrick Garland to exempt the industry. You can do it. You have the authority to.
That would change everything.
Yes.
Plain and simple.
Well, again, like my client, the numbers were with IRC 280E, $65,000 in free cash flow a month. Without it, 100. So we're talking about a huge step up
Yeah,
in profits.
that's
And then-
$450,000, $500,000 a year.
Correct. And then you have the ability to hire people just like you to do
Yeah.
marketing.
All sorts of
Right.
fun stuff. Oh, shit. All right.
But let's turn the conversation back to our guest.
Because I think everybody's in deep thought now. We're like, I think I'm
Yeah,
rethinking the way I'm
you just educated us, about
Federal law.
basically, how people can navigate, through these changes. The descheduling or the rescheduling to Schedule 3 doesn't help me as a practitioner that is advocating for health equity reform, right? Because, at what level does it show that, this is something that is, we're challenging pharmaceuticals with, right? We're
Right.
challenging the status quo. We're basically placing it at the same level.
Yep.
Right. So then,
but we're recognizing it as medicine
As
for
medicine.
the first time under
Right.
federal law. What does that do for all the people that aren't allowed to use it at the federal level? Like, what does it do for truckers? What does it do for all of these people? What does it do for
federal
medical
employees,
federal
government employees.
Right.
health insurance
Military.
for medical marijuana patients?
Potentially.
So could we take the medical marijuana
Even
bill
police
and put that to
officers.
insurance?
Yeah, there's
officers.
police officers in New Jersey that, is very public. Police officers losing their job because they decided to,
Smoke a little weed.
smoke
Yeah.
a little
Yeah.
weed now that it's recreationally legal, but
Right.
because of their jobs, they're not able to. So, it definitely bridges the gap in one sense for, certain people to access this and not, risk losing their jobs, and be able to, actually use this as an alternative medicine. So, in one hand, it's like, it's a good thing, but then, it still needs more reform.
Right.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's not going to be quick because there's states like mine. I'm from Wisconsin. We don't even have a medical program.
Oh,
so
wow,
like,
that's like one
you
of
wanna
the
talk
four
about a can of
states
worms.
that don't have the
Don't have
only one of
anything.
there's a
four.
lot of can of worms to this. It's
Wow.
like once you start pulling at these strings, there's a lot of layers.
Now,
to
is
it.
there an active CBD program? You can't have CBD, no hemp products.
CBD is federally legal under the
Yeah.
2018 Farm Bill, so we're good there on the federal
Okay.
level. So there's hemp, but yeah, there's no medical program. So having the federal government acknowledge that there is like a medicinal value, it just accelerates a lot of those states that don't have any medical program, which is
Right.
only like
Yeah.
7 left, to get them to medical, and then it forces the conversation
Yeah.
that like, all right, now you have to like probably should just make this adult use because it just 280E goes away, so there's going to be a lot of just influx of capital, and a lot of things are going to happen in the industry because like business will be booming. We'll have expanded margins and profits to pay
For
third-party
everything.
professionals
Yeah.
and
Right.
like a lot of traditional stuff that like SG&A expenses not being able to be deducted is just a son of a bitch.
Yeah,
So-
it really hurts. But also, I went to law school in Wisconsin, have not been able to work there. And so I'm just like happy that I'm like, oh, maybe they will. They have a
Right.
bill.
They might
that-
have some opportunities. You're already advanced and ahead of the, league, so you could definitely help that, that booming medical marijuana economy.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
No, I feel it. This is why this was a good mix of brains and thoughts and
Yeah, lots
Yeah.
of different areas of experience here.
right.
And I would say like reforming it is almost easier than just completely descheduling it. Like they're all a can of worms, but
Right.
like just from the sense of like it's going to be a bit of a grind. It might take a few years to actually get it rescheduled, but I think it's a bit of an easier lift than full on descheduling because there is still people in jail for weed related,
Oh, yeah.
nonviolent cannabis crimes, and so it's like
oh yeah.
just the government almost has to save face and just baby steps into this. Like some states baby stepped in with a medical program that was very limited, then a larger, offering of their medical program, then rec. So I think the government will do something similar to that just because there's issues within layers that are like decades old that still need to be addressed. And so I think rescheduling is baby steps in the right direction.
Especially like what happened with hemp in 2018. When they descheduled it, I think they want to avoid one of those where the problem could just go beyond their control and their anticipation of what it would be. And then even the interstate commerce aspect of it, because there's no regulations. And the whole regulation for like the past 87 years is illegal. Like that's it,
Yeah.
Get the G-men out there. We're gonna bust those guys. But now that they're actually talking about it has medical purpose, thank you. What does the regulation look like? So now there's going to be rulemaking, and hopefully then after there's that rulemaking, we can drop it, especially within a flower form. Maybe not in like the prepared form where you're actually making what we would consider to be a drug. For example, poppies are not heroin,
Right.
right? And so but the plant. It's like these are buds, these are flowers.
Yeah.
They're literally a flower, and you're calling it a drug. That maybe if you extract it and turn it into like an inhaler and like control and titrate the dosage and the terpenes and the CBD or the THC content of it, now it's looking more of a therapeutic that resembles a drug.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But from that aspect, though, I think also on a dosage level, like you can have lower potency THC up to, the high potency stuff, depending on what somebody prefers. It doesn't necessarily need to be like, we've got 29%, that it hits.
And then there are, practitioners like myself that are guiding people on how to use it appropriately. That's, applying harm reduction protocols that allow someone to learn how to dose even high THC strains, in a way that responds to their endocannabinoid system, right? And how they're able to use it and not, experience any, harms or risks. So.
And Sonia, would your business benefit if you could then bill insurance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
So now that
for
it's Schedule
medical
3.
cannabis. So, because I am a mental health therapist and we provide mental health and substance abuse therapies, we are able to access people's private health insurances, right? So it'll really be about Medicare, Medicaid, the government really recognizing this as an alternative medicine and then creating pathways that address those disparities. Because there are a lot of people that can't afford private insurance. There's a lot of people that can't afford to see us privately, right? So those are the people that still need, access to these type of services. So, they're the ones that would benefit.
Right.
Great conversations, everybody.
Absolutely.
And I just wanted to let's wrap it up and thank our guests, and then say how can people get in touch with you. So Sonia, go ahead.
Yeah, so social media handles, The Happy Therapist. And then also for our cannabis and psychedelic clinic, it's Coit Health on social media. So that's CoitHealth. And then coithealth.com, CoitHealth.com. And then rollingstone.com/author/Sonia-Singh is where you can find all of my cannabis and psychedelic content on rollingstone.com.
Awesome. And Ray?
Awesome. Yeah, DopeCFO. We have a website, DopeCFO.com, or DopeCFO.us is the website. Myself,
How do you spell that?
DopeCFO.
Dope.
Right, just how it
So
sounds. And then my name's Raymond Guns. I'm on LinkedIn. You'll know where to find me. Just look around.
Perfect. I'm Max. I just want to say, check you in the next video. Thank you very much.
Great
Thanks for having me.
conversation.
All right.